Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm sharing my recipe for these fried cod fillets. Today I'm using boneless, skinless cod fillets that I had in my freezer, but by all means, if you only have fish with bone or you have a different type of fish, any fish or protein will work with this preparation. So if you want to see how I make my fried cod fillets, please keep on watching. So whenever I'm making any type of fried fish, I like to start off with a fresh seasoning paste to use to coat the fish before I fry it. So in my plate here, I have some crushed garlic, some crushed habanero peppers, a pimento pepper, a little bit of green seasoning, and some wiri peppers. Now I wanted it to be like extra spicy today, that's why I'm using the wiri peppers alongside the habanero peppers that I've crushed, but you can go ahead and use whatever type of hot peppers you have, or you can omit them if you do not like spicy food. And now if you're looking on the plate and you see that the garlic, the habanero, and the green seasoning, they look very frozen, it is because I keep those things in my freezer for easy access when I go to cook. But basically all I'm doing is I'm putting all of these ingredients into my mortar and pestle, and I'm going to pound them really well until everything is into a nice fine paste. You want to make sure this is very fine and not too chunky, because the more chunky it is, the harder it is for it to stick to the fish and it will fall off as the fish is frying. So after you finish pounding all of those fresh seasonings, you should get a nice fine paste such as this. Now if using a mortar and pestle is too tedious for you, and if you have like a mini chopper or a blender or something like that, feel free to go ahead and put all of these ingredients in there, give it a whir, and then make sure it is nice and fine. But I love my mortar and pestle. So once you finish making your fresh seasoning, it is time to work on the fish. So I have about 4 cod fillets that are boneless and skinless that I bought from the grocery store, and basically all I did was I washed the fillets with a little bit of lime and some salt just to get any of that fishiness or rankness out. I dried them up just a little bit to get rid of that moisture, and then I cut them into about 3 pieces each, or 2 pieces each, just depending on how big they were. Now at this point, once they're washed and dried, I'm going in with some salt and pepper to taste. I will leave all of my ingredients and measurements down below, but you will want to make sure for the salt and pepper, you put it in for how much that you like to have in your diet. Now once you go in with those 2 ingredients, you're also going to go in with that fresh seasoning that we just ground up, and you're going to go in with some clean hands and mix it up and massage it into that fish. You want to make sure to get it all around the fish, all over all of that surface area, and not to miss any area on the fish. Now everybody makes their fried fish just a little bit differently. A lot of people will bread their fried fish with different ingredients. Some people may use breadcrumbs, some people may use crushed crackers or cornmeal or anything like that. I just prefer to go very simple and use some seasoned flour. So in my bowl here I have some all-purpose flour, and I went in with some salt and pepper to taste. Now by all means, if you wanted to add any other seasonings to this flour or spices of your choice, feel free to do so as well. Once you've mixed the salt and pepper and whatever other dried seasonings that you desire into that all-purpose flour, you're going to go ahead and start dipping your seasoned fish into the flour. You want to go ahead and make sure to pat it down really well, get it all coated with all of the flour all around the fish. And you're basically going to continue this process for every piece of fish that you have before you start to fry. I just find that when you go ahead and you bread the fish before frying and do it all in one single batch, it just helps and you're not confused and you're not wasting time as you're frying. So I'm going to continue doing this and I'll show you what to do next. So I've got all of my fish breaded in my all-purpose flour. Again, if you want to bread it with something else and you want to do like an egg wash and then do it in the flour, or put in an egg wash and then some cornmeal or crushed crackers or anything like that, feel free to do so, but again, I'm just going simple with the flour today. Once you finish breading all of it, you want to make sure your oil is heated up in your pan on a medium to medium high heat, and I'm using vegetable oil today, but you can use any type of oil of your choice. Now the one thing is, I do not recommend using olive oil or coconut oil or things like that, just because those types of oils tend to get a little bitter tasting when they heat up too much and they start to burn actually. So use a very light tasting oil for frying. So once your oil is nice and hot and you see like little ripples on top of the oil, that's your indication it is hot enough to start adding in your fish. So I'm taking about half of my batch of fish and I'm putting it in that oil, and I'm going to let it sit on the side for about 2 to 3 minutes until the bottom side is nice and golden brown. And after a couple of minutes, you're going to see that the other side starts to get a little bit golden brown, and you're going to want to go ahead and turn it so this way you can get the other side golden brown as well. Now I will be flipping this quite a few times as I'm cooking it, just so each side gets a nice golden brown color. So throughout the entire cooking process, I've been flipping the fish every once in a while just to make sure it's getting an even brown coating on all edges. As you guys can see, it's starting to get to where I want it to be. I want it just a little bit darker than this, so I'm going to keep on flipping and rotating it, and I'm going to allow it to get just a little bit darker. So my cod fillets ended up cooking for about 6 minutes just because these are smaller pieces of cod that I cut them into. If you are making larger pieces, it will take longer, and if you're using even smaller pieces, like if you wanted to make like fish nuggets or fish sticks, then it will take even less time. So just go ahead and monitor it based on the type of fish you're using and the cut of fish that you're using. And of course, you want to make sure to keep that oil regulated, because the last thing you want is for the oil to be too hot and then it burns on the outside but doesn't cook on the inside. But basically, once you see that it is nice and golden brown on the outside, it should be done. You can transfer it to a plate, line with some paper towels, and it is ready to serve. Now again, you can serve this with bread or anything like that to make a sandwich. You can eat it by itself, you can eat it with other dishes such as dal and rice, or to accompany any other dish. You can also add it into stews, just like how I did yesterday. I did share this recipe already for my stewed fish. It is on my channel. I will leave it linked right up here in the right hand corner. But as you guys can see, something as simple as some fried fish can serve so many different purposes and can be eaten or used in so many different ways. So if you enjoyed this recipe today, please go ahead and give this video a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed yet. And now as you're subscribing, make sure you click that red subscribe button and go ahead and click the bell notification icon, so this way you're notified every time I post my newest videos and you don't miss out on anything new on Matthew's Guyanese cooking. And of course, once you've done all that, leave your awesome comments down below. You know I love hearing from each and every one of you, and I'll be seeing you guys again very soon in one of my next videos. Bye everyone.